Hey Tim, it's Alex from Wall Street Academy, and created this video so I can show you exactly my questions. It's just a couple questions, but I feel like me showing you on the charts makes it a little bit easier, and hopefully I'm able to get some feedback from you and help me clear up exactly the confusion that I have. Um, Not sure if I'm answering my questions by me asking you these types of questions, but honestly, when I get your feedback, I think everything will be clear. So the first question I have is, when it comes to identifying structure, um, obviously the actual concept of structure is pretty. It's easy for me to understand. We learned it going to Q's class and knowing when it breaks and when it starts transitioning into a whole nother thing. Um, Seeing it on charts was a little bit more confusing for me. For a long time, I was confusing break of support and resistance versus an actual break of structure. And I think that's where I used to trade like that when in July. I think I was just watching the literal like individual moves and I was trading like that. And during that whole, I mean, when I traded like that, I was able to profit. But that next month, I just completely just took L's like every single time because I wasn't trading within the actual trend in terms of what it was actually doing in the long term, right? So my first question is obviously when it comes to structure, it has to retrace at least to a minimum of a 38.2 on an uptrend or a downtrend. Once it retraces to that, and that would give you a valid high or low or lower high point. My question is when it actually gets to that fib level on the higher time frame. This is a 4-hour time frame, but if I'm watching it on as a, like, let's say I'm watching it and it just keeps going up and up and up and up, and then it comes down, let's say to a 23.6, but that's not a valid high or low or lower high point until it actually comes down to that fib level. My question is am I waiting for an engulfing? Like if I'm just analyzing on the chart and drawing things on the chart, because I feel like there's times where, like, obviously in the past, obviously there's times where it comes and it may form that engulfing. My assumption is that I have to wait for that engulfing, and that'll give me that valid point, and then from there that's where it'll start going. But I feel like there's times where I see the engulfing on that fib level, and then it just keeps on going lower and lower until it and then reaches another level, and then it just starts going in that direction. So I guess that's my question when it comes to analyzing on the chart is am I looking for that engulfing, or is it just any type of support? I guess like if it or am I waiting for a tested candle? There you go. That's the word I'm trying for. Am I waiting for a tested candle, or am I waiting for the engulfing? And obviously, the whole concept behind when as structure is making its points, like on a lower high or a high low, is on that lower time frame it breaks the counter trend and then starts continuing on the main trend that it's on. I understand that concept. I guess if I'm analyzing on the charts, what exactly is that makes it that point? And my second question is it's the exact same type of question, but obviously when it comes to entries, am I waiting once it gets to that PRZ level? Am I waiting for an engulfing and then getting in, or what exactly? I felt like that was one of the things that confused me. So I feel like, okay, like if you're drawing your fibs, and if I'm going down a small time frame and I'm watching it, and am I getting in on an engulfing? Because I'm not sure. I feel like it was one of the webinars where it's like I think Tim had drawn Q, my bad. Q had drawn. He drew his fib level on the higher time frame, and then he went down to like 30 and 15, and it's like he was watching it, or he broke it down. It's like, oh, when it came to that fib level, it was an engulfing right there, and then that's when he got in. And I guess that that kind of confused me, because it's like, obviously the on that lower time frame, the market still has a lot more to move. Versus if I were to see it on the H4 and it's just one candle, then it's like, okay, that it it's a bigger picture. But that's my confusion. The first one is, if I'm when I'm charting, am I waiting for that engulfing, and this like, okay, that's where that higher lower high point is. And when it comes to entries, is it that same concept? Like, it's like, if as I'm watching a retrace, and am I getting in on that first engulfing, or am I waiting for an engulfing after the moving average crossover, or exactly how exactly am I supposed to be getting in? Those are a couple questions that I had. I think from there, once I'm able to understand these two questions first, and it's like, okay, now I'm able to actually try it out and come across, because I know a lot part of this is actually knowing it on paper and when you see it on charts, and then another part of it is actually going out and experiencing it. And yeah, hopefully you're able to get back to me, and I really appreciate your time and helping me try to understand the problems that I'm not quite understanding.